A funny story. Once upon a time there were Raja and Rani who were much grieved because they had no children, and the little dog in the palace had also no little puppies. At last the Raja and Rani had some children, and it also happened that the pet dog in the palace had some little puppies, but unfortunately, the Ranis to children were to little puppies and the dogs to little puppies were to pretty little girls. This vexed Her Majesty very much, and sometimes when the dog had gone away to its dinner, the Rani used to put the two little puppies or children into the kennel and carry away the dogs to little girls to the palace. Then the poor dog grew very unhappy, and now it happened some time after this. One day, when the dog had gone to fetch her daughters at dinner, the young Princess Raja and his brother came to hunt in the jungle, and they hunted all day and found nothing. It had been very hot, and they were thirsty, so they went to a tree which grew on a little piece of high ground, and sent their attendants to search all round for water, but no one could find any. At last one of the hunting dogs came to the foot of the tree quite muddy, and the Raja said, "Look, the dog is muddy, he must have found water. Follow him, and see where he goes." The attendants followed the dog, and saw him go to the stream at them. When the dog returned, she was grieved to find her children gone, and for 12 long years the poor thing ran many miles to find them, but in vain. At last one day she came to the place where the two princesses lived. Now it chanced that the eldest, the wife of the Raja, was looking out of the window, and seeing the dog run down the street, she said, "That must be my dear long-lost mother." So she ran into the street as fast as possible, and took the tired dog in her arms, and brought her into her own room, and made her a nice comfortable bed on the floor, and bathed her feet, and was very kind to her. Then the dog— It so happened, however, that when the Raja came to visit his wife, as chance would have it, he went through this very room, and tripping over the pattern basket, called for a light to see what it was. Then, lo and behold, there lay the statue of a dog, life-sized, composed entirely of diamonds, emeralds, and other precious stones, set in gold. So he called out to his wife and said, "Where did you get this beautiful dog?" And when the Rani saw the golden dog, she was very much frightened, and I'm sorry to say, instead of telling her husband the truth, she told a story and said, "Though it is only a present, now see what trouble she got into for not telling the truth." "Only," said the Raja wife, "this is valuable enough to buy the whole of my kingdom. Your parents must be very rich people to be able to send you such presents as this. How is it you never told me of them? Where do they live?" And now she had to tell another story to cover the first. She said, "In the jungle," he replied. "I will go and see them. You must take me and show me where they live." Then the Rani thought, "What will the Raja say when he finds I have been telling him such stories? He will order my head to be cut off." So she said, "You must first give me a palanquin, and I will go into the jungle and tell them you are coming up." But really, away she went, and when she had gone some distance in her palanquin, she saw a large white incense nest over which hung a cobra, with its mouth wide open. And the Rani thought, "I will go to that cobra and put my finger in his mouth, that he may bite me, and so I shall die." So she ordered the palanquin bearers to wait, and said she would be back in a while, and got up and ran to the incense nest, and put her finger in the cobra's mouth. Now a large thorn had run a short time before into the cobra's throat, and hurt him very much. And the Rani, by putting her finger into his mouth, pushed out this thorn. And then the cobra— When they reached the spot near where the cobra was, what a wonderful sight awaited them there! In the place which had before been thick jungle, stood a splendid palace 24 miles long, and 24 miles broad, with gardens and trees and fountains all round, and the light shining from it was to be seen 100 miles off. The walls were made of gold and precious stones, and the carpets of cloth of gold. Hundreds of servants, in rich dresses, stood waiting in the long, lofty rooms, and in the last room of all, upon golden thrones, sat a magnificent old Raja and Rani, who introduced themselves to the young Raja. Then he grieved much over the sad fate of his parents-in-law. When the party returned